Welcome, ladies. Little Natasha Bedingfield didn't hurt nobody. If you don't like Natasha Bedingfield, we can't be friends. Just letting y'all know. I'm Maru Iabichela, and it is my absolute honor and pleasure to be in a virtual room with all of you beautiful, amazing individuals. Wow, I've got so many people joining. We've got people from everywhere, people that are my neighbors here in Fort Worth and Dallas, like Jennifer. And then we have people from Chicago, Ireland, Carrie joining us from Romania, and Kavita from Guyana and Mexico. Holy crap, yay! Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the El Kachin, she's joining us from somewhere where it's cold right now, I'm pretty sure. It's Canada. So I'm just letting everybody take a sneak peek and see everyone, because I am getting ready to put myself on the pin video format so that you can only see me and you don't get easily distracted with everybody else popping in. I'm really nervous about this webinar. I'm nervous about this webinar because what I'm about to share with you, it's my truth, personal experience, but as I've shared it with others, it's been pretty enlightening. And as you all know very well, I thrive on authenticity, vulnerability, and transparency. And I cannot not share this development with you because it was so shocking to me and so effective that I am putting magic in the air so that people receiving this information directly live in this webinar that will have similar or the quadruple success that I've received. Okay, sounds like a good plan. Yep. So there is not going to be a replay because as my earring falls off. There's not going to be a replay because I intend. It's so good to see you, Lamisha. Wow, it's been forever, lady. So there's not going to be a replay because I intend to turn this into a different format webinar. Also, the primary reason is because as I've started putting the content together, I literally kept getting more and more and more and more to where I have so many more things, more than 7 things to share. And I'll probably get to 8 today, maybe. But I feel like this is just part 1. Does that make sense? So I want to do a more comprehensive session. And obviously, if you stay till the end, we'll have a Q&A. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And yeah, so let me go ahead and pin my video here. For those of you that are joining and have not been in a webinar with me before, I'm really fun. I'm Maru Iabichela, and I live in Dallas, Texas. Most of you know that. I see some new faces that have not had a webinar live with me before, so I'll just give you a little rundown of who I am. I am from a small town in Venezuela. Actually, my town borders Colombia, and I was born and raised there, and I moved to the United States in 2000, speaking zero to very little English. And my dreams were crushed. You know, my dreams were absolutely crushed. When I was home, I thought I was going to grow up to be a TV host. And when I moved to the States, I had no voice, physically and metaphorically. I had no voice. I had no friends. I had to start over, and it was quite crushing. I was very sad for the first 2 or 3 years. I never raised my hand. You can see me now, very eloquent and out there. This is not the Maru that existed, 15 years ago. I was very self-conscious of my English because I had an accent, right? Like your mind can fool you to think that you're not good enough, right? Or that what you know is not good enough. And that was definitely my case, but I managed to graduate college and I got a job in corporate America, and I had made it. I did it. My American dream was on its way, and I was so happy. I kept getting promoted. I was a superstar at work until one day I almost collapsed from an anxiety attack, which I had no idea it was an anxiety attack. All I know is I couldn't breathe, and that every time I breathed, I felt stabbed, like I was stabbing myself in the chest. That was when I was 26 years old, and it did not add up. Somebody that had everything checked off from a box. And for me to be suffering from this, it just didn't make any sense to me. I thought I was perfect. I thought I had it all figured out. And many of you are shaking your heads because you can probably relate to some of what I'm saying. But that was the biggest turning point in my life, because when I got myself to the emergency room and the doctor diagnosed me with nothing, he says, "No, sweetie, everything checks out fine, but here's the pill because you're having anxiety and panic attacks." And I was like, "Me? What?" I couldn't understand how some like the real symptoms I was experiencing were caused by the head. I couldn't understand. Like at that point, I didn't live in that paradigm. So it really caused me to go into a spiral of research and inner research of what is wrong with me. Is there something wrong with me? And that's truly where my studies in authenticity and living into authenticity started, because what I realized is that not being authentic can kill you or bankrupt you. Fast forward to me quitting my corporate job, walking the plank of leaving everything when my life was in complete uncertainty. I left, I had no savings. I left, I had, my partner was in the hospital. I left pregnant. I had everything that should not have happened because I had it all in my vision board, and none of it came to pass the way that I envisioned it. And I was presented with the opportunity of staying versus going. And I had a vision that if I wanted to inspire other women to walk that path and to walk what feels like a plank, I had to do it myself. And that is the one vision that got me through the hardest, most difficult time of my life. And I became an entrepreneur almost 3.5 years ago as a coach. I've been certified since 2011. I didn't know you can make a living helping people this way, but I've been passionate about it since 2011. And 15 months ago, as the majority of you know, I had a massive financial crash where 3 contracts fell through and I was left at nothing. I had put all my eggs in one basket, and I was drowning in shame and guilt because I had over $52,000 of credit card debt that I had accumulated trying to grow my business fast. Like I needed it fast. You know, I sacrificed so much. I'm a successful woman. I need things to happen tomorrow. And I invested in like $20,000 coaches and $5,000 programs, like 3 of them. I had a massive lapse of judgment, and nobody knew because I had a strategy that when I got to 6 figures, I would be able to pay my $50,000 off, and then nobody would ever know. And then everybody would be spared, including me. But as we all know, that was not the case. And that's when I discovered that also following everybody else's blueprints and steps can also be harmful for you, for your health, for your financial stability. And that's where I talk about not being authentic can bankrupt you, right? Can make you broke and also broken, because I was very heartbroken that I went to so many lengths, right, to prove that I was worthy, that I could be successful. And I completely forgot about the fact that, you know what, you do have a say in the matter. You have to listen to yourself. And there's some things I did that never felt right, but because I was told that that was the right way to do them, I kept doing them. And I have since committed to my happiness. And as you all know, things have completely turned around, and I'm extremely honored to run a business that honors me, that honors my truth, that honors women's truths. And if you ask me what you do, I would say 3 things. I first help women be brave, be strong and powerful role models. I help women create livelihoods, packaging their truth and knowing how to market and sell them. And I also help women launch celebrity brands, because many of you don't know this about me. I've helped launch like 3 or 4 celebrity brands. And I have a magnet to help women, to help me and to help others get to quantum levels of recognition and quantum levels of impact. I have that magic. So I had to give you that introduction because many of you are new to doing training with me. Some of you found out about me through Raw is the New Black. And that is amazing because it is definitely something I'm very passionate about. What you don't know is that not every month is a huge success. What you don't know is that behind the scenes, when you're running a quote unquote successful business, you also have a family. You also have so many responsibilities. You are pulled in so many different directions, right? Raise your hand. So sometimes you don't even get to post on Facebook. Sometimes you don't even get to do the things that you're supposed to be doing, right? To stay irrelevant and to stay out there. And that was not my case this year. I was doing everything right because I learned from last year that if you don't have leads in the pipeline, they dry up and then you're like at square one, at 0. So I'm very proud to say that I've grown a lot. My business has grown a lot, and I was doing everything right. So when you talk to 15 people on the phone and they tell you that they want to work with you, and something freaky freaky, like getting served with papers, legal papers of something, when your bank blocks your transaction, when your fiance cannot afford paying for your coaching, when some things happen that are just weird, like when you feel like, okay, the yeses are there, but why is the money not in my bank account? Why are people saying yes, but the money is not transferred? Why am I talking to 15 people, like several say yes, majority of them say and get lost, like they disappear? What is it? Right? What the hell is it? And I had to ask myself that question, because that was what happened to me in February. And I couldn't understand, because I thought I was doing everything right. This webinar is not about why I'm blocking myself or why you're blocking yourself, because there's a million different reasons that we would need like an intensive boot camp, right, to hack all those reasons. But this webinar is about the realization, the divine message, the intervention I had, the mental intervention I had that allowed me to quadruple my earnings from February to March, in like quadruple what I made in February in March in like 5 to 7 days. I've been underestimating the power of that, which I received. And that's why it's been a webinar that, to me, it's not even a webinar, it's more like a discussion, and it's a presentation of my truth, of this truth. It's because it's still fresh, it's still new. Excuse me. But I cannot ignore the fact that I went from this to this in no time, right? And it was after I started doing these exercises that I received that deep knowledge. So at the beginning of, I hit a point of exhaustion. It was a Wednesday. I was done with my calls, and I could not, for the love of God, understand why my creativity was so blocked, right? I had just auditioned for a TED Talks. I mean, things are going fantastic, but for some reason, like the money itself, like the income, it's drying up. And I felt so tired. And I got to the point where I was beating clarity out of me, which I don't believe in at all. Like if you're not receiving the clarity at that moment, leave it. It's not, you're not meant to be working on that. So I got to the point where I was like, I'm not being myself. I got to stop. Like I really have to stop. So I informed my family that I needed to go away for a day. I absolutely needed to go away for a day because I needed to remove myself from, I don't know why, like this was totally like divine intervention as well. I just told him, I said, I gotta go. I have to take a day off. I'm leaving on Saturday. I'm going to stay at a hotel. I gotta go. Like I didn't ask for permission. I just gave notice, like Lisa Nichols says. And the next day, this was a Wednesday, by Thursday, I started getting like glimpses of this idea of receiving, right? Because you and I know that money is not the issue. You may think it's an issue, right? But right now, there's someone buying the 7,001 car for their collection. Right now, there's someone out there spending $6 million in a bracelet. Right now, there's somebody out there that is dropping all kinds of money in a horse, right? So money, the money is not the issue. There's trillions of gazillions of dollars being circulated right this second. Money is not the issue, right? So why is it that money's not in your bank account? Why is it that all these people are coming to you, they're telling you, yes, I'm gonna work with you, or they're coming to you and then they're not committing, they're disappearing? So I had a revelation, and this is where it starts. I got a very clear message in my head that said, Maru, you only get what you have the capacity to receive. And I want you guys to write that down. Katrine, Hisala, Christine, Carrie, Angelique, you only get what you have the capacity to receive. And I stopped on my tracks. I was like, what? Okay. And I was like, okay, if that's the case, and this is a question for you guys, right? So imagine that every single one of us has a tank, a receiving tank, a capacity to receive. Okay, imagine that you have an individual capacity, a tank, right? And I picture it as like, and the vision I had, it was like, it was in my torso, like it was in my chest cavity area. It was my torso, and that my receiving tank was up here. And I asked myself, and that's a question for you, how big, out of 100%, how big is your capacity to receive right now? And I want you to post the question in the chat box. If I asked you, hypothetically, if you had to take a wild guess, this is not, there's no right or wrong. If I asked you sincerely and honestly, what do you think is your capacity to receive right now? And on a scale of 1 to 100, what would your answer be? Okay, 30, 10, 25%. So Katrine said 25%, like she has room. Katrine, do you mean that you can only receive 25% more? Okay, so you're like at 75%, basically. Okay. Okay, so keep them coming. Just type in the chat box. So this isn't to make anyone feel bad, right? Right. This isn't to make anyone. Just to clarify, the question is about how, like, what is your capacity to receive right now? So is it at like 75%? Is it at 20%? Is it at 50? Is it at 60? I got that mine was like at 40. Shayna says, today at this moment, I've got the ability to receive 100% because I'm so grateful and shifts have happened. And that is beautiful. Like, kudos to you. I am working on expanding that capacity every day. That's exactly what I want to share with you guys today, because when I got that visual that we all have a tank, right? And one ear and wonder, I'm gonna take it off. So we have this capacity to receive, and it resides in our torso, right? That's the visual I got. And I felt like my capacity to receive was at 40%. I'm like, okay, so clearly I'm blocking 60%. Like there's a part of me, there's like 60% of me that's not really that open. Maybe I don't want to bring people into my life, and I don't want to bring people into this mess. Many of you recall February was the month that I was going through emotional upheaval because my personal relationship was pretty much ending. And so here I am, out actions wise, words wise, I am saying, yes, I want clients. Yes, I want income. Yes, it's it. But deep inside, I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm not really open to receive. And I got a 40% for me at the time. And I got this visual, two visuals. The first one was Oprah. Okay. I thought of Oprah just because there's somebody that, kind of travels with me, and it's my dream jar, and I admire. And I also admire the fact that in order for someone to have all eyes on them, like let's picture an Oprah, let's picture a Taylor Swift, let's picture someone else that you admire, right? Can you imagine how big someone's heart has to be? How big their capacity is to give and to receive? Can you imagine how big their hearts and their tanks have to be in order to receive as much attention, to receive as much support, to receive as many blessings? In order to have people cut your picture out and put you in your dream jars, or in your bedroom, or in your bathroom mirror? How creepy is that? Honestly, how creepy is that? Okay, I'm just keeping it real here, y'all. So, right, true. So, what you're wanting, I'm not sure you're ready for. Ouch. Ouch. Do you feel like you're ready to receive people into your life right now? Maybe not. Maybe that's why they're not coming. That and the sneaky ways that our subconscious will block grace, it will block our blessings, which we'll get into. But I got this very clear visual that I'm like, wow, I can just imagine like her energetic field, right? Like let's say an Oprah or Taylor Swift. To me, they're equivalent because they have very high integrity careers, right? Like high they give so much, but they also receive so much. And I just kept picturing, okay, Christine says, I feel like I am, but I'm not focusing on the right thing method. Okay, we can talk about it in a little bit. So, so I was like, wow, what I want, I may not be ready for. So I also picture that this tank can grow, and that even though mine was like 40% of my chest, maybe, that it could grow. So I had this vision. I don't know if you know this, but in quantum physics, they teach that the universe is expanding every day. The universe is constantly growing. And so I equaled, and this is where the truth bomb is, I equaled my capacity to receive to the universe. Because if the universe is expanding every day, money is not an issue. Okay? Success comes easy to me, then why am I not achieving the levels of success and the stability that I desire? So I immediately started equating my capacity to receive and my receiving tank to the universe. My capacity to receive expands infinitely. My capacity to receive grows every day and expands like the universe. My capacity to receive is infinite, infinite, infinite. And I started affirming it within 30 minutes, and this is no exaggeration, which is the freaky part about it. I had somebody message me saying, I'm down with your 6-month program. We're talking $7,500, okay? We're not talking change. The next day, I had a referral, another person, easy as yes, okay? And on, like within no time. Okay, I started being blessed like that. So I'll read your comments here in a minute. I want to keep going with this. This is huge. This is huge because what we say we want, we may not be ready to receive it. This is the part where I am such a ninja, masterful coach in helping people prepare for success, because success is not as easy as people paint it. You can ask anyone who's just received their big break, right? I've coached plenty of clients that have gone viral online, right? And they shell up, they climb up. After I did Raw is the New Black, that week after, I kind of wanted to climb up. And I was like, oh, Maru, opportunity to expand your capacity to receive. Why? Because I was overwhelmed. You know, I love doing that, and I'll continue to do it till the day I die. But it's draining. You give so much, right? So in order to keep yourself going, right? Yeah, of course, you have to up your self-care. You have to up the amount of support that you receive. Of course, those are all ways that you can unblock your receiving. But you yourself have to up your shininess, up your capacity, up your tank, increase your capacity to receive all that love so you can give that in return. So that's definitely the main thing. One of the main things I wanted to share with you is that we all have a capacity to receive, because there's trillions of millions of dollars in opportunities out there that people are receiving. Why are you not receiving them? Right? Why are you not receiving them? So this one exercise where you can literally, I wrote a couple of things here. You visualize your heart. Like I've literally been like standing up straighter, imagining and picturing my heart. And for those of you that are familiar with heart math, you know that the heart is 100 times more powerful than the brain, and it has its own electric field, right? If you've ever pictured like Jesus' sacred heart and stuff, it's always the heart, not the brain, that it's highlighted, right? Because the heart is so powerful. So I keep picturing every day, like my capacity to receive, like, can you imagine what it must be like to be a Taylor Swift, for example? She can literally, like, when you see her, you feel her energy. She can like hug the world. You feel a virtual hug when you talk to this person or when you see them, right? I'm not exaggerating. She has a big tank to be able to receive all the stuff that is coming at her. So I want to hear your comments. Let me read a couple here because we definitely have more to cover. Shayna says, this is an interesting point. I feel like the tank is full at a different level depending on what my focus or desires are. When I thought about receiving as much as Oprah, it was 10%. Ouch! Okay, how many people had a revelation when I said receiving as much as Oprah? What did that bring up for you? And go ahead and raise your hand or say something because I want to unmute you. I want to hear from you. Katrine, hold on. Oh, you can unmute yourself. It's not letting me unmute you.
My reaction was, oh! Thinking about all of those people focusing all of their energy on me was a one of the like duck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's got to be an on-ramp process for sure. There's got to be an on-ramp before you're like already like, you know what I mean, celebrity status, or touching millions of people's lives. Like half of us say we're going to, right? There's got to be like an on-ramp. And I do believe that this exercise of expanding your capacity to receive and imagining your heart, your chest, your ability to hug the world, to really, really embrace your greatness, your vastness, but also all the people that you're meant to serve. The more you can imagine like hugging them and bringing them in, the more this is going to get closer to you. And thank you for sharing that. Anybody else wants to share what kind of came up for them when I said, is your capacity to receive, you know, as big as Oprah? Or when I brought that up, did you have a trigger or did something happen? It's a bit scary, Christine says, but I want to despite the fear. Absolutely. I want it too. And that's why to me, it's an on-ramp process. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a bold move. I'm going to try to help 50 people first. I'm going to try to help, 200. To receive at the Oprah level, you must stay grounded, asking universe and God. Otherwise, it can get super overwhelming. So here's the, okay, if somebody knows, and I'm so glad you're online, Angelique. Angelique worked for Miss Oprah Winfrey for 18 years. So she knows because she was her executive assistant. So Angelique, I don't know if you can talk a little bit, but I think this is super important. And Angelique is saying you have to stay grounded. You have to ask God and the universe for support. Can you just talk a little bit about how you see Miss Winfrey receiving? I know that you may not be able to talk, but if you can just message me, that would be great. I just got butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know where you are, but if you can unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. Because it would take a lot. Like it would take a big, big, big heart. And then I know a lot of support, right? To be able to give and receive as much. So the next thing that I want to, hold on. Caitlin says, what you said about the capacity, to receive really resonated. And I worry because things aren't okay at home and I'm not feeling supported in my growth with my business. That is a block. I worry about my ability to receive and having enough energy to reciprocate, though I feel stuck about what to do about it. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I would say let's talk about it. Definitely that meditation, and also knowing that it's going to come gradually. Like, it may come all at once, but you will have to ask for the support at that point. Because I've seen it. I've seen people have their 15 minutes of fame and they blow up and they crash really quick. And that's what you need to be able to step up to the plate to capitalize on that momentum and get the support that you need. Let's see, Angelique, trying to unmute, but speaker's not working. I'm trying to think, Angelique. Okay, Angelique, can you hear me? I unmuted you. Okay, if you can talk, that would be fantastic. Stella, did you want to share? I thought you raised your hand.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, I didn't know. I thought you raised your hand.
Oh, no, I didn't know I raised my hand.
Okay, no, you're fine. You're fine. You don't have to say anything. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Sorry about that. So, okay, so what are some of the ways that we do this every single day of our life, right? What are some of the ways? So this is where I'm telling you, like, the information just kind of keeps coming, and I'm like, okay, God, thank you. I'm open to receive, and now it's like, careful what you wish for, right? Because I feel like I have a book in me now about the different ways that we block our blessings, our grace, income. And it's so subtle. It's so subtle that I'm hyper aware now. And this is one of the things I'm going to recommend, is that you become hyper aware, right? Because imagine the universe wanting to give you unstoppable blessings. Christine says, please share your book. Working on it. No, really, I do have an ebook that I was working on, and I literally scratched it. I was like, I'm gonna do it on this. I'm gonna do it on this. That's why I'm not doing the replay, because I'm trying to get my thoughts together on it. I'm doing another webinar on it, but just anyway, whatever. So, okay, so imagine the universe coming at you, right, with grace, strength, bringing you pretty much everything you want. And I call this unstoppable prosperity. Unstoppable prosperity. Imagine if you had everything you wanted and everything is coming at you, okay? Does anybody feel a little uncomfortable? Yeah, right? I can't see all your faces, but I see the few that I can see. Some of you are nodding. Right. So Eddie says yes. Yeah. So how can you, and you will find a better answer than I will ever be able to give you. Okay. But I want you to start picturing unstoppable blessings. I want you to start picturing every day you wake up and miracles unfold easily, effortlessly. I want you to imagine a life where upper limits don't exist. Because I am afraid that because now we can so easily rely on the sabotage pattern that comes after success, that I'm afraid we're getting programmed to expect that. Okay? So, but what if it was the other way around? What if you actually got programmed for unstoppable blessings and unstoppable prosperity? Like, no matter what you do, you cannot stop the flow of incredible things coming at you and at your family. At you, because we can't control their destiny. What would your life be like if this was your reality? Right? I affirm this every day. Unstoppable prosperity. Unstoppable. I am unstoppable. The blessings cannot come. They're in everything. Imagine if that was the filter and the programming and the mindset that we have, right? So, having said that, I want you to tell me what comes up for you when I said, imagine that everything you want is coming at you. It's coming for you. It's coming. It's like coming. It's right there. What came up for you? Caitlin says relief. Yay! Happiness and excitement, freedom. Amazing. Oh, thank you, Kavita. I'm glad you like that. So check this out. Angelique says, if you got everyone and every desire you want coming to you, it is imperative to remain calm, to meditate, to self-love. You name and let the universe and God help you process. Stay positive, put fun thoughts in your mind consistently. Got it. Amazing. Jennifer says, big sigh, release. Katrine says, who do I owe? Isabella says, I'm not ready. Tremaine says, I need to open up much more joy and goodness. Okay. So, oh, this is so classic, y'all. Christine says, dead. Wow. What do you mean? Kavita says, I really want to open my heart, not only to give, but to receive at that capacity. That answers the question I asked for guidance on yesterday. Yes. Okay. Carrie, you're awful quiet over there. I want to hear from you. You're unmuted. Hi.
I'm really
Bring it up for you.
Like, oh, yeah, because I am really great at receiving value. So like trips, holidays, 5-star flights, you name it. But when it comes to income, I am blocking. Last year I earned $4,000, and that wasn't even through coaching. That was through like acting and doing bits and pieces here and there. But I know last year, like I did loads for free and I stopped. I didn't really have that much value, self-worth going on. So then I did a lot of inner work to kind of get to this point where I'm like, no, I getting those paying clients in. But there is a thing when you said about receiving, my mind is like 10%, like that's the number that's coming up, because I do feel if there was more, I would be receiving more and I wouldn't feel so trapped in terms of having to rely on somebody else to get by.
Okay.
You know, like the codependency or the feelings like, you know, okay, the worrying, like I went to the gym this morning and I feel really great, and it's starting to happen. Like the mindset shift is definitely happened and it's happening, but I know for sure, like for me, why is there such a block? Do you know?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect for the list I'm about to get into. I'm sorry that that's how you're feeling and that you feel like you're receiving is at 10%. And I know exactly why it is. And here's my theory. Okay. You're not receiving the help the universe is giving you. You're not embracing it. Like Matt right now, your fiance, right? Like in this moment in time, right? Like the ways that you've been able to survive, make it, you know, travel, all the things that have, like, basically, like, imagine if you didn't have Matt, for example, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and let me mute everybody. What I'm trying to say is that this is something that a lot of us women do, right? Because your parents are supporting you, because your spouse is supporting you, because you're getting a government assistance, because you're getting some kind of support, you feel like that's not how you want it. So therefore, it's hard for you to embrace it and to say, wow, that is my abundance right now. I have the luxury to not have to generate X amount of income, right? Or I have the opportunity to not have to generate that amount of income because my partner or my whatever, right, is supporting me. So the not seeing how that source, because, you know, it could be the government, it could be someone else, right? In this case, is your love, right? He's like the source at the moment, right? That's not to say that it's not going to shift, it's already shifting. But what I'm trying to tell you is that when we don't embrace the abundance that is there at the moment, right, which right now it's coming from his company's bank account or whatever you want to call it, we're blocking abundance, period. We're blocking receiving because we're not embracing where it's coming from right now. We're discriminating the way that the universe is giving to us. So does that make sense? Some of you it made sense, and Carrie.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, because income has come in for me different ways. Like when Matt went into hospital, he had no money, and so I had to get government assistance and help. But I do feel like I got out of like a negative bank account last year, and I'm now in a positive one, and I'm starting to make money myself. Like I do feel that I am like appreciating that, because you see, when I was brought up, like it was bad to go on government assistance. It was wrong to go on government assistance. Like if you were earning money from, you know, like say a boyfriend or whatever, it was like all these like limiting beliefs about, oh, you're not successful, you failed, you're a disappointment. So I really had to work on that to get out of it, and now I feel like I am really like appreciating that and being grateful for it. And I do see the money coming in for me. I just feel like obviously this is where I'm at right now, and just kind of face that and be like, okay, that it is changing and it is happening.
Yeah. So this is, to me, the journey is a journey, not a destination, and becoming hyper aware of the ways that we're maybe not being grateful, or that we're, you know, just discriminating, and you're like, well, yeah, it's coming this way, but that doesn't count because it's not how I wanted it. You know, what if the universe wants to give it to you another way, so that you are open to receive the multitude of ways that abundance is supposed to come your way? Okay, so I got several comments here. He said, how do you know the universe is trying to give you, how do you know the universe is trying to give to you, or how may you be discriminating? When you say, okay, it's coming from this, but it's not coming from this. So you're in scarcity mentality, maybe, or you're coming from lack, thinking that, like, I know plenty of people that have, let's say, brick and mortar businesses, or they have another business, right? And they want coaching to really, really, really work. So of course, I mean, I do too, right? You do too, in your case, Gisela. So, but when you're receiving abundance, imagine the universe is not going to tell you, okay, Gisela, abundance, or Carrie, or whoever, the income that you want, the success that you want is going to come to you from this specific avenue. that's discriminating, because that's you playing God, saying, is this way exactly like this? It could come in so many different ways, right? It could, I don't know, it could be like your practice gets bought out. It always happens in the least expected ways. So when we dictate the how, that's when we're blocked. Okay, so I'm muting some of you unless you want to participate. Okay, so that's one way. How are you, like what, how, this is how I see it. It's like the universe is coming at you, right? Like it's, imagine like the blessings coming from everywhere. You go to the supermarket, you're at the gym, you're with the patient, you're in the bathroom stall, you know, or we go to bathroom stalls now. Sorry, like you're in the ladies' room, right? I make connections, like in the ladies' room. You never know. Like, be open to receive the abundance, because it's everywhere, everywhere. I mean, waiting tables, that was my networking space when I was a waitress, because that's where I would spend 60 hours a week. So I'm like, I am going to capitalize on this. This is where some of my blessings are going to come from. And that's one of the tables got me the job where I eventually, you know, became successful at. So that's only one way. Okay, so here we go. I have a long list. So one of the ways that we tend to block grace, right, is not asking for help. I know plenty of people that they prefer to do it all themselves, or maybe they can't afford to do it all themselves. I understand, but then change your language, okay? I'm doing everything right now, but I'm so open to receiving the ways that I can outsource this and that I can maximize myself, right? That I can receive abundant blessings. Why? Because then you'll find somebody that charges $3, right, online to do something, because that happens all the time. So once the student is ready, the teacher will appear, or the opportunity will appear. But thinking that you have to, hi Trish. So yes, there we go. Thinking that you are like, you have to do everything, and to me that's borderline martyr. You know, like, oh no, I gotta do everything. I gotta feed the kids. I gotta feed the dogs. I gotta cook. I gotta wash the dishes, and then I also have to work on my business on top of. No. One of the first things I do with my clients is we have to find somehow, some way that you can create more time, more focused time to do this, because if not, your creativity is not going to be there. You're kind of blocking your blessings. And as women, we tend to do that. We want to give, we want to do everything for everybody, and we have to open up our capacity to receive the support and the help that we need. Okay, that sometimes requires you talking to your spouse, or talking to your significant other, or having a difficult conversation with someone, because we don't think we deserve it, or we don't think we're worthy, so we just avoid the conversation altogether. Another way that we're blocking. Right. So these are just some of the ways that I have found that I've, you know, that I've become hyper aware of, and that I've received of the most common ways that we block our blessings, right? That we block our receiving. This is a big one. You putting people on pedestals. Oh, she's so great. She did that. She's amazing. You know, or, oh, wow, like I could never do that. Or maybe you're thinking, yes, I can totally do that, but you're falling into comparisonitis, right? And here's what, from an energetic standpoint, when you do that, here's what's happening. You see somebody as different from you. You putting somebody out there like outside of you, like, oh, this person is superhuman, or something like that, right? When in reality, Oprah, you and I, like, we're all the same. This is my reframe. We're all peers in the human experience. We're all peers in the human experience. If you can start seeing anyone online or in person, authors, speakers, celebrities, we're all peers in this human experience. Some people have completely different experiences that we do. They're doing completely different things that we do. But you know what? We all have struggles. I tell you, as people I admire, I've ended up coaching them many times. I've gotten more together than they do, even with all the debt I have. So this is one reframe that I think has entirely allowed me to open myself up to meet as many wonderful people as I've met that have the influence and the impact that I want to have one day. Angelique says, I gotta go. We love you too, Angelique. So this is a big one, because when you're putting people out there, then you're, okay, when you're putting people out there, it's like you're by default kind of pushing yourself down energetically. You know what I mean? Up here, I'm not there. So yes, of course, I'm not Taylor Swift, yet. But you know what? When I look at her, I'm inspired. I'm like, wow, she's just like me. She's just like me. She's another human, different experiences, but we're peers. We're peers. So energetically speaking, this is going to align you more. This is going to allow you to kind of bring yourself up and admire and get inspired instead of comparing yourself or thinking you're never going to get there. Okay? Does that make sense? Again, the universe wants to give you everything you want. So are you ready to receive it, right? And if you're seeing people as your equal, then you're probably going to be much more open to that happening to you too. Okay. So then I have, so this is something I've noticed in my personal relationships with my partner. Kind of tend to argue, right? And so he'll offer some help, or he's like, hey, would you like an energy treatment, right? Like he does energy healing. And in the past, I would be much more close to that because I'm like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't want to, or my pride would get in the way, like I'm not happy right now, so what? So like, because I'm hyper aware now of the ways that I'm saying no to the universe, right? The universe wants to give you everything you want, but we say no sometimes because we have pride, because we have the limiting belief that we don't have time, right? So this hyper awareness has allowed me to receive a lot more, and also in relationships as well, right? So I've started to say yes more. Like, you know what? Like, I want to say no, but I'm like, no, Maru, you're not blocking this energy. You're not blocking this session, or you're not blocking this. So many of you can find yourselves in arguing, or wanting to be difficult, or maybe just getting easily triggered. Okay. I'm going to encourage you to work on that and find a way to tap into love, and find a way to expand your heart and say, dear God, I'm not going to block this lesson. I'm actually really open to receiving this lesson. Again, there's a blessing, because we live in a world of unstoppable prosperity, right? You're being taught something, you're being given something, and the more we block it, the more we resist it, we're damming the flow, like a dam, dam the flow. So, excuse me, I can't even read my own handwriting. Resentment. I want to talk about resentment. Oh, thank you, Shayna, for reminding me of that one. But I want to talk about resentment real quick, because if you want to, this is an exercise that I do at least twice a year, and I probably should do it more, but it's forgiveness, right? Those of you that I've met through Lucky B and Denise's program, you know that decluttering is a big thing. Forgiveness is a big thing, right? So if you've had a bad experience with a coach or with a client, write them down, forgive it, because that energy of that memory, or pretty much any negative money experiences or experiences that could be impacting your business flow, that could be blocking you from going out there and getting more clients, or going out there and hiring a coach, or buying another program. You absolutely have to forgive this and let it go immediately, like tonight. This is why, because you're trying to get money or income or success from this flow right here, but in the pipeline, there's all this gunk accumulated in the form of resentment, or in the form of things didn't go as I planned, right? You gotta let it go. You gotta have to wait. Have to find a way to be the plumber of your own, I don't know what you call it, like flow, I guess. Because if all those things are kind of cluttering the flow, right, of you getting clients, income. Here's the thing: is one day you're going to produce your own courses. You're going to have your own high-end packages. One day you're going to have your own things, and by you having a little bit of resentment towards that, you're also blocking it for yourself. You don't want that, my friends. It's called karma. You don't want that. What happened. It's a lesson. Be open to receive that lesson instead of criticizing it. Or let me tell you, this is something that I've struggled with because I've had my lessons, right? But I recognize that it's all been stacking up on top of each other, right? To really help me, to really help me get to this point. So I embrace it. I embrace the lesson, right? Again, I don't want to block the flow. The universe is trying to give me something. Sometimes it's a lesson. I'm open to receive it. So unclaimed value, unclaimed wealth, right? So how many of you have, and it's funny because Shayna said it, that she has a massage card, got a gift certificate for a massage from a student, and I haven't booked it yet, even thought about giving it to my husband, who is a massage therapist, and booking a session with him instead. Blah, no, I earned it. Classic, classic, classic. If you look around, you will find unclaimed value everywhere, okay? Gift cards, unclaimed coaching sessions, courses you've taken that never used. And some of you are looking away like, me? Never, not me, right? I get that. I don't think we're supposed to go through every course, every step of every course. I don't believe in that. Like, I think you, depending on the course, you will get what you need, and then we'll come back to what you need later, right? Like, maybe you don't need all 100 lessons right away. However, when we're just kind of overspending and just kind of giving away the money as if it didn't matter, we're just draining power. We're draining value. We're draining energy, right? We're draining our worth. It's like, so unclaimed value. I think that's another way that we have the wealth right there and the opportunities and the value, and we don't take it. Why? I don't know. But I definitely will tell you that that's part of that income and wealth and luxury, whatever your desire, and you're not taking it. That's very classic. That's another way that we block our receiving, because the universe has given you something and you don't claim it. I have a couple of checks I haven't cashed, and I think I'm afraid if I cash them, I might not get it back. That I might not get it back. Well, I'll use it up and then be completely without any financial assistance. How interesting. So I don't have all the wisdom at the moment. You know, it's all unfolding for me. But my intention is to bring up the awareness and to give you some hints for you to become hyper aware in your life with that visual, like, wow, do I have a tank? Is it blocked? How can I expand it, right? Like, how can I make myself somebody that is comfortable receiving, that is comfortable giving, that can hug the world, and picture yourself as the universe. The universe is expanding every day, so are we. So make sure that your receiving is expanding every day. If you find little incidents like Christina's sharing with us that she feels scared to cash these checks for her own reasons, I understand that. But the universe gave you something and you're kind of blocking it. You know what I mean? So how can you expect to get more? This is my question, right? So this is where we have a sisterhood. This is where we have support to give you that push. Everything is symbolic here. Everything is symbolic, right? The way that you block one blessing, the way that you block a lesson, the way that you block something, you're also blocking other things. You cannot selectively choose, you know what I mean? It's like, even if it's something you don't want, just say, I'm open to receive the lesson, right? So show that energy of openness is what I'm advocating for. I have, this is a silly one, but I tell you, I think, so Trish is saying, could there be a worthiness issue? Absolutely. So I was just talking to somebody this weekend, right? And she was telling me, she's like, this person, like she just broke up with her boyfriend. And she says, Maru, I don't think I'm worthy of him. And I'm like, okay, somebody please stop me because I want to do something here. Because you know what I mean? It's like, wow. So if you don't, whatever you believe, the universe will get you proof of it, right? Like, I believe that maybe a lot of the insights I'm sharing with you are able to explain why I do feel like I live in the world of unstoppable prosperity. You know, one day is this, I'm on the phone with this person, next day I'm doing this, the next day I'm doing this. Is because, or I win sessions with like Oprah's former editor. It's because I believe that's my reality. It's like, I live in a world of unstoppable prosperity, unstoppable blessings. That's my truth. Hell, true or not, it's what I tell myself, and it works. So might as well, right? But if you tell yourself that you're not worthy, guess what? how do you think your receiving is going to be? Right? So whatever reason you don't think you're worthy for, like maybe you made mistakes in the past, or maybe your father, typically it's some kind of abandonment issue, right? We know that. So you have to upgrade your beliefs, because that happened 25 years ago. That happened 40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, just like you upgrade your phone, just like that, just like you upgrade your phone, you have to find a way to also upgrade the way you think, because you can create new neural pathways and reprogram yourself for unstoppable prosperity, right? For infinite receiving. I'm telling you. So this is a silly one. When I did my TED Talk audition, when I applied for my TED Talk, that was January 30th. And I started saying something that I think jinxed me. Obviously, your beliefs create your reality. So I'm just sharing this one with you so that you don't do it. I'm not trying to jinx you. But I started saying, I've got everything crossed. I've got everything crossed for the TED audition, right? For the TED Talk. I'll never forget that someone called me out on it and said, Maru, don't say that. Open yourself. And I was like, okay. You know, by that time, I had already been saying it for like 2 weeks. So if it's true, I don't know if you've seen Masaru Emoto's exercises. Okay, Kaylin has to go. Such a minutes the lesson said, but how to catch you later. Okay, besos. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so Masaru Emoto basically proved that what you say and what you think, especially what you say, affects the molecules of water. If you say hate and you attach like hate to water and you look at the molecules under the microscope, they're going to be all crazy, like jagged edges and stuff. But if you say love, they're going to be beautiful. I've seen many experiments where kids will have 2 jars of rice, right? Like one with a nice label, one with an ugly label, and they talk nicely to one of the rice bowls or rice jars, and the other one they tell them, I hate you, right? And the one where they hate on the rice goes dark like that, like pretty quickly, right? So if I tell myself I've got everything crossed, could there be a possibility that maybe I also closed myself, closed me? Sorry, 3 years of metaphysical studies, pursued a degree on that, 2008 to 2011. Yeah, it does affect you. It does affect your field and your energy. So I've started saying open arms. I'm open arms, like open arms, okay? It's a silly one, but to me, key one. Another way that we block our receiving is when you say, I can't believe this is happening to me. Queen Gisela was there when I was in New York, and I remember that was a big turning point for me, because I was like, oh my God, like I had all these beautiful people that came to the meetup and came to to meet me and you know and hang out, and Christine says, I love this after run. Thank you so much for doing this. Of course. Yeah, we'll keep the conversation going. So anyway, so I was telling everybody in New York, I was like, oh, I can't believe you're all here. Oh my gosh. And I think it's my humbleness, right? Because I am a humble servant leader for sure, but to a point where it's at times not allowed me to progress, you know, the way I wanted to. So I got called out on it, and I started from that point on. I started saying, "Wow, I get to have this. I get to experience it. I get to have this." So the next time you find yourself like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing! I can't believe this is happening to me! Oh my God, stop, and just say, "Wow, I created this, right? I own this. I'm here. This is my reality. Wow, I am so grateful." So to go from shock, like a huge surprise, right, of like, to, you know what? I've worked for this. I'm so grateful. Yes, I'm here. Does that make sense? Can you all see how this little tiny, Caitlin says, I so did that in New York. That's so profound for me. Okay, now I'm really going, but wow, really seeing how this showed up for me. Yes, owning your celebration, absolutely. And this is why we need to celebrate the wins, right? Because the more that you own them, the more that you embody them, right? You're like, oh, I'm moving forward. Yes, I'm doing it. Absolutely. Truly, honestly, I could go on. I have several things here, but what I want to really end with today is, hold on. I said not accepting help. You know, sometimes the help comes in the form of a, you know, a family member or somebody loaning you money, or somebody saying, let me help you with X, right? And you're like, no, I got it. I'm cool, right? Whether it's pride or there's a lot of shame in asking for help, right? And if you've ever studied human behavior, you'll know that you absolutely need accountability. You need support. I've been totally digging Marshall Goldsmith. He's like the world's grandfather of executive coaching, and he's like, because I wrote the theory of human behavior and what it takes to really stick to something and follow through, I have somebody call me every day. I have coaches. I have a lot of accountability and support because I wrote the theory of human behavior, right? Because we live in a world of extreme distractions, you know what I mean? And to not ask for help, I'll give you a very personal example. You know, I opened myself up to tell you guys that I've worked out maybe 15 times in 3 years. Maybe it's 20. Still very poor, very not something I'm proud of, right? So it's not that I'm dumb. It's not that I'm not intelligent. It doesn't have anything to do with that. And that's why I love Marshall, because he explains it. It's like, it doesn't have anything to do with intelligence or genes or anything. It's got everything to do with your environment, right? And I literally have enlisted the help of 3 people to help me stay on track, to help me change my environment, to help me have the right triggers, right? And to help me stay on it so that in the next 90 days, I can really get over to the other side and rewire those neural pathways. I'm not embarrassed at all. As a matter of fact, I want to scream over the top of my lungs. That doesn't make me less of an extraordinary coach at all. It just reaffirmed for me that what I'm doing is right. That where you need the most support, that's where you need the more help. You know what I mean? Like where you have the greatest weakness or whatever you call it, like that's where you need the more support. Because by default, we'll distract, especially if you're in the same environment. So the last one I want to share is we downplay our looks. We downplay our looks. We're all beautiful. We all have a way to show up more beautiful in the world, right? Like we all have a way to love ourselves more, maybe wear our cutest clothes or share our most powerful content, but we hold it back for the perfect time. We hold it back for the right opportunity, for the right occasion, and that occasion never comes. Okay, so all the greatness, the abundance the universe has given you, you kind of withhold it because like waiting for the perfect time to share it or waiting for the perfect time to show up. And I find that this is one way that we block the, whether it's attention or we block like ourselves, we block our confidence, and then that does not enable us to connect with the people we're meant to connect. So listen, I've shared so many things here. It's like a lot. What I really want to leave you with is that awareness of, oh my gosh, like what if Maru was right? Like what if at any given time, like I could receive everything I ever wanted, right? But because the universe, without a doubt, is already trying to give you everything you want. You're in this call because you were open. You had the awareness that maybe you needed to receive more. Maybe you want to receive more in your life, okay? So that's the first step. Now become hyper aware of the way that you are resisting your blessings, right? For me, not taking care of my body and not making self-care a priority is the way that I've been blocking my blessings, right? Because my excuse is I don't have time. I don't have time, which is just an excuse, right? Or, oh, I don't, like, whatever the excuse is. It's a way that I'm resisting the blessings of experiencing full vitality, full energy, full creative power, feeling completely my power, and like I'm thriving and not frazzled. Okay? Like my new mantra is thrive over frazzle. Because I am an expert at creating opportunities for me to like be in high adrenaline all the time, because I thrive on high adrenaline. You know what I mean? So I'm addicted to that. So I'm really open to breaking that pattern, and whoop, like that. 3 people show up in my life that are like perfect to help me with that. So where was I going with this? Lots of important, relevant information here. My goal is that you picture yourself as that being that is infinitely blessed, that the capacity to receive that's already in you, that is growing every day, is growing exponentially, and affirm it. Affirm it. My tank grows every day. Every day I'm more open to receive. I'm so eager and excited to see what the blessings are going to show up. I'm so open, right? Like Oprah open, like I'm getting there. And maybe I'm not there yet. That's totally fine. I don't need to be. That's fine. I still have some time to get there, but I want to be able to give and receive at a level that allows me to touch the world. And I'm open to receiving the learning and what I need in order to get to that point. Okay. And ask for the help, receive it. You know, I just recently had somebody help me with something, and she's like, no, Maru, really, you don't have to pay me. And I was like, no, but I want to pay you. So I'm like, okay, I paid her, but in my back of my head, I'm like, is that a way that I'm blocking that blessing? Because that would really help this person. You know, so have you really helped somebody, and then maybe it's their time to help to pay you, right? In a favor, and you're blocking it. So, yeah, and don't put people on pedestals. Like, we're all peers in the human experience. We're all peers. It doesn't matter who it is. We're all peers. Remember, money is not the issue, is your ability to receive it, because you only get what you have the capacity to receive right now. So what you're getting in your life right now is what you have the capacity to receive. If you want more, start becoming hyper aware of the ways that you can be more open to receiving people, blessings, connections, income, connections, more importantly, beautiful people in your life, because that's where everything else comes from. So questions, comments. Trisha says, this just happened to me. She said she wanted to pay me because I feed her spiritually. I just accepted with a bit, thank you, and loved it, and she did too. Interesting. Trish, that is, I'm so glad you shut down your instinct of saying, no, you don't have to pay me. Or maybe you did, but then you shut it down. Good for you. Stella says, I love this new perspective. Yay. Carrie, what's up?
Yeah, I was just going to say, the bit about what you say is more me now at the moment, like the I can't believe and the different like things that we say. Because I'm going to be working with Sorsha tomorrow for like 4 sessions to do my earlier traumas, because they're what started the abandonment and things like that from the very beginning. So I'm doing like a quick like 4 sessions with her, because like obviously I know the things that we say, because I know like my mom will say stuff like, I can't believe this is happening, this is a nightmare, like this tiniest thing, and you're like, that is really like, is still there. So I think there's definitely, now it's good that I'm not there, you know, I'm still away, like I've distanced myself, but it's those wee things that we say, like we're like, oh, I can't believe this is happening, like, and then we're like, oh, why is that blocking me? So I definitely, that one really resonated with me, and asking for help and support. I feel like I've done that a lot more this year, and it's really opening like the next steps. Like for me, it's like the energy work, and then with Sorsha, and then it'll be like the opening, so that when it does get to success, I'm not like have all these like earlier beliefs that are still trapped in my subconscious.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, that's the next step. So I'm like, right, next step to actually getting there. And so sometimes I think like, somebody messaged me yesterday and we're like, oh, I can't believe it's April already. And so it's like, you know, like things like, oh, it's happening too quick, I haven't achieved my goals, you know, we're already a quarter of the way through. Like it's like, it's not going to happen. It's kind of that thing where it's not going to happen instead of it actually
perpetuating, right? You're kind of
What you're-
perpetuating.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. And it's so funny, my black pen stopped working after the first one, so I picked up a red one as a love. And because like because you know what you said about the confidence, like I do feel like I'm putting myself out there a lot more, and it's like I'm bearing all, like you can't, you know what I mean? So it's like to keep going. So when I picked up the red pen, I was like, okay, that's a sign for love.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thanks so much. That was really good.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I look forward to hearing any feedback, like now that you start saying that. And I wanted to tell you that, so this like starting to say that really changed my income. But then I shared it with a friend of mine, like right after I got the call, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm onto something. And I called her and I told her, I said, I want you to start affirming my capacity to receive expands infinitely. My capacity to receive grows with the universe. Like my capacity is infinite. And within 45 minutes, she had a woman, she's a new coach, and she had a woman message her that she wanted to sign with her, like out of the blue. Then there's a woman that, anyways, so I also shared it with somebody who was having a really, really, really tough luck, like showing her house, and they're trying to sell it. And I don't know if she knows consciously or unconsciously if this happened, but I got to tell you that when I share this with her, and I said, just say it. Just say it. My capacity to receive expands infinitely. And, it's growing. It's like growing. And I saw her post that like 2 days later, they had 3 bookings, 3 showings booked. So listen, this is a gift. I feel like I received that gift when I heard you only get what you have the capacity to receive. And then I started getting all this other knowledge, and I wanted to pass it on to you because I know that who couldn't use more receiving in their lives? Who couldn't use more receiving in their lives, right? And I definitely look forward to sharing more. This was in a way kind of like a practice webinar of this stuff because it's so new to me, and I look forward to seeing what else this unfolds for me and for all of you. Yeah, definitely. I'm so grateful for those of you that have stayed until the end. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, and I look forward to hearing how this works for you. Charmaine says, thank you, Millie. Ellie. Eddie says, thank you, Mario. Yay! Woohoo! Absolutely. So, yeah, let me know if anybody took notes and you want to share them with me. I will receive them. I will receive them. And I'm open to receive all your greatness. And I'm just so excited to be in this journey with all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And here's to unstoppable prosperity. Woo, baby. Yeah. Okay, y'all, keep in touch. I'll see y'all later.